Chinelo emerged from her room, dressed in her dazzling wedding gown, beads shining, wrappers tied perfectly. She walked with grace, smiling as everyone clapped and praised her beauty. The drums beat, the crowds cheered, until her smile cracked, her laughter twisted into screams. Before their eyes, the radiant bride fell to the ground, wailing, tearing her gown, rolling like a woman possessed. The wedding turned to chaos. The bride had gone mad. In the heart of Umueze, an Igbo village surrounded by tall palm trees, there lived twin sisters, Chinelo and Amaka. Though born of the same womb, their fates were worlds apart. From childhood, Chinelo was celebrated. Her skin glowed, her laughter rang like bells, and her body blossomed with the grace of a queen. Everywhere she went, eyes followed her. Her parents pampered her endlessly. If there was one new dress, Chinelo wore it. If there was one piece of meat in the pot, Chinelo ate it. And if there was one compliment in the air, it was always for Chinelo. In the village square, the young men competed for her smile. Mothers whispered, "That girl will bring wealth to her family." Her father called her "my jewel." Her mother, the pride of Umueze. But Amaka's twin was a shadow. Though her face was just as lovely, no one praised her. While Chinelo walked proudly in fine clothes, Amaka wore old wrappers with fading colors. She just came and left without glancing her way. Even her parents hardly noticed her pain. At night, when the compound was quiet, Amaka locked herself in her small room and cried into her pillow. She asked herself the same question over and over. Am I not also their daughter? Am I not also worthy of their love? But no answer came. The worst pain came not from strangers, but from her own twin. When Amaka admired Chinelo's fine beads and asked, "Sister, can I borrow just one for the festival?" Chinelo laughed sharply. "Go and find your own. Don't touch what is mine." When Amaka reached for her sister's wrappers, Chinelo snapped, "These are for queens, not for shadows like you." And if Amaka ever dared to speak of how their parents ignored her, Chinelo would smirk and say, "Don't blame me because nobody wants you. Even Mama and Papa know the better daughter." Her laughter cut deeper than a knife. So Amaka swallowed her tears and carried her pain in silence. But inside her heart, a heavy seed was taking root. Each time she saw her sister clothed in beauty and glory, something in her chest tightened. She said nothing, but bitterness stirred like storm clouds before the rain. It was a bright afternoon when Amaka returned from the market, her basket filled with cassava flour and smoked fish. The dusty road of Umueze village stretched before her, lined with tall raffia palms, swaying gently in the wind. As she walked, a shiny black car rolled to a stop beside her. In a village where most men still rode bicycles and trekked barefoot, such a sight was rare enough to draw eyes. From the car stepped a tall, broad-shouldered man dressed in a crepe shirt. His shoes gleamed. His wristwatch caught the sun. He was not a stranger. He was Obinna Nwokoye, a son of Mazi Nwokoye, who had gone to the city, prospered in trade, and returned home. Obinna was 30 years old, wealthy and respected in the city, but his parents had been pressing him for months. "Obinna, it is time. Bring home a wife. Do not delay our grandchildren." So he had returned, determined to honor his parents, see them, and take a wife from his people. When his eyes fell on Amaka by the roadside, humble, soft-spoken, and graceful despite her plain wrappers, something stirred in him. He smiled. "Good afternoon," he greeted. Amaka bowed slightly, her voice calm but gentle. "Good afternoon, sir." Their words flowed easily. He asked her name. She answered. They exchanged greetings, then numbers, and for the first time in a long while, Amaka felt seen. Days turned to weeks. Obinna called her often. Sometimes he drove her to the village eatery, ordering soup and meat, sliding a bottle of malt across the table just to see her smile. Sometimes he bought her simple gifts, slippers, a scarf, even a wrapper that brightened her face. At home, her parents still ignored her. Chinelo still mocked her. But Amaka's heart no longer drowned in sorrow. For once, she felt hope. One evening, Obinna said softly, "Amaka, you are the kind of woman I want for my wife. I will speak to your parents and pay your bride price." Her breath caught. She covered her mouth, tears breaking her eyes. For the first time, fate had smiled on her. She whispered to herself that night, "Finally, I will leave this house of neglect. Finally, I will be loved." The day came. Obinna arrived with his kinsmen, carrying palm wine, kola nuts and gifts. The compound of Amaka's father filled with voices, laughter and the hum of expectation. Amaka dressed in her fine wrapper, though simple. She tied it neatly, her heart racing with joy. But as the men settled, Chinelo swept into the courtyard. She wore a new flowing gown, beads glittering in her hair, anklets jingling. Her body dazzled in the evening sun. Obinna's eyes fell on her, and his heart shifted. He stared. His chest tightened, and in that moment, he forgot the humble twin who had stolen his heart. When it was time to speak, Obinna cleared his throat. His voice rang across the compound. "With respect, sir, I want to ask for the hand of Chinelo in marriage instead of Amaka." Amaka's heart stopped. Her ears rang. Surely her parents would correct him. Surely they would say, "No, it's Amaka you came for." But instead, her father grinned. Her mother clapped with joy. "I'll do well," they cried. "Our pride." They accepted the proposal immediately. Amaka sat frozen in the shadows. Her sister smirked, triumphant, not even sparing her a glance. And in that moment, Amaka's joy shattered into sharp pieces. Something cold and heavy began to grow inside her chest. The compound of Papa Chinelo buzzed like a hive. The date was fixed, the palm wine stored, wrappers and beads laid out. Chinelo floated about with pride, her laughter echoing through the yard. She was the queen, the bride, the chosen one. She barely spared a thought for Amaka. Her mind was full of her rich husband-to-be, Obinna, and the life awaiting her in the city. Her parents beamed, glowing with joy. Never in their wildest dreams had they imagined that such a wealthy man like Obinna would come for their daughter. They poured their energy into the wedding preparations, each step done with pride. But behind closed doors, Amaka sat in her room drowning in tears. She cried until her chest ached, until her voice broke. She dialed Obinna's number again and again, desperate to hear him say it was all a mistake. But the phone rang and rang, no answer. "Why me?" she whispered. "Why was I born only to be rejected? What sin did I commit against the world?" She listened as her parents praised Chinelo, celebrating the wedding as if she herself did not exist. Her tears dried up, leaving something heavier in their place. Her grief turned to anger. Her anger soared into heat. That night, she whispered into the darkness, "They have stolen everything from me. Now I will steal her joy. If I cannot be happy, neither will she." On the cover of the night, Amaka walked through the narrow path that led to the edge of the evil forest. Her wrapper clung to her legs, her feet silent on the red earth. In her hand, she clutched a small bundle of palm oil and cowries. At the end of the path stood a mud hut, dimly lit by a flickering lamp. The villagers called this a cursed place, but Amaka no longer feared curses. She was already living in one. Inside sat an old woman, her back bent, her hair white as cotton wool, her eyes sharp as burning coals. Amaka knelt, her voice trembling. "Mama, help me. I cannot bear it anymore. My sister takes everything. My parents' love, my shelter, even my peace. I want her joy to scatter. I want her shame to be seen by the whole village." The old woman studied her in silence, then dipped her hand into a calabash filled with black powder. "Child," she croaked, "jealousy is fire. The hand that carries it burns first. Are you ready to be burned?" Amaka's eyes were cold. "Let it burn." The old woman handed her a small pouch. "Sprinkle this in her wedding gown. When the drums beat, her mind will scatter like ashes." Amaka paid with trembling hands, clutching the pouch as she hurried home. On the eve of the wedding, Amaka slipped into Chinelo's room. Chinelo, folding her new wrappers, looked up in surprise. "Amaka, this is when you came into my room. What is it? I thought you were still sulking." Amaka smiled faintly. "No, sister, I'm not angry. I only came to wish you well. Maybe it is fate that you were chosen. My own husband will come when the time is right." Chinelo smirked. "Good. At least you know your place." Amaka lowered her eyes, hiding the fire in them. "Before you leave tomorrow, let me help you prepare. You're my twin after all. No matter what happens, I will always love you." Chinelo relaxed a little, her pride satisfied. That is how it should be now." She returned to her packing. Amaka touched the fine gown laid out for the wedding, her fingers lingering there, her mind racing. That night, while everyone slept, Amaka slid into her sister's room. She opened the pouch and sprinkled the black powder deep into the folds of Chinelo's wedding gown. The woman's warning echoed in her ears. "Jealousy is a fire, my child. Be careful, for it burns the hand that carries it too." But Amaka had made her choice. The morning came. Drums rolled. Voices rose. Guests poured into the courtyard. Obinna and his kinsmen arrived with palm wine and kola nuts, proud and expectant. Chinelo emerged from her room, dressed in her dazzling gown, beads shining, wrappers tied perfectly. She walked with grace, smiling as everyone clapped and praised her beauty. Her father's chest swelled. "This is my jewel," he whispered, the pride of her father. But as the drummers played louder, something shifted. Chinelo's steps faltered. Her eyes flickered. Her hands shook. She stumbled. Her laughter cracked into screams. Her eyes widened, rolling like storm clouds. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The crowd gasped. Children screamed. Obinna's kinsmen exchanged horrified looks. "Madness," someone shouted. "The bride has run mad." Chinelo tore at her gown, beads flying. She rolled on the ground, wailing and shrieking, her body convulsing. Her voice rose in wild cries, incoherent and mad. Children cried. Women clutched their wrappers. Obinna stepped back in horror. The bride of Umueze had lost her mind before the eyes of the village. And in the shadows, Amaka watched with a bitter smile calling on her lips. Her plan had worked. Her sister, the pride of the family, the jewel of Umueze, had been broken before the eyes of the entire village. For the first time in her life, Amaka felt powerful. But deep inside, something whispered, the fire has only just begun. Her mother rushed forward, wailing. But Chinelo clawed and bit like a wild animal. Her father dropped to his knees, his voice breaking. "Chinelo, my jewel, my pride." The shame burned hotter than fire. Guests whispered. Some shook their heads, already backing away. Children screamed. Women fled the courtyard. The drummers abandoned their sticks in fear. Obinna stepped back, pale and shaking. His uncle rose, voice stern. "We cannot continue. This is an abomination." Shame covered the compound like a heavy cloth. Obinna's family gathered their gifts and left, the car engine fading into the distance. The proud wedding of Chinelo was finished before it began. The courtyard fell silent except for Chinelo's shrieks. Neighbors whispered, gossip already spreading through the village like wildfire. Her parents clutched their heads in despair. Their joy turned to ashes in a single moment. And in the shadows, Amaka stood, her arms folded, watching it all. Watching her parents cry, watching her sister writhe in the dust. A cold satisfaction filled her chest. For once, Chinelo was no longer the star. For once, Amaka had taken something back. And though she smiled, a strange chill settled over her heart. The days after the ruined wedding were filled with sorrow. The drums of joy had been silenced, replaced by the wailing of Chinelo's voice echoing through the compound. She wandered barefoot, hair wild, muttering and screaming in the dust. The once proud jewel of her father was now a broken shadow. Her parents clung to hope. They carried her from one healer to another. First, they tried the herbalist in Oba village. He gave her roots to chew, but her screams only grew louder. Then, they took her to a dibia in Eke, who baited her with herbs, chanting incantations, but the madness clung to her like a shadow. Everywhere they went, healers shook their head. This madness is not ordinary. It was a family friend who finally whispered to Chinelo's mother. There is a princess in Mumi's shrine. She sees what others cannot. Go to her. If anyone can tell you the truth, it is she. Desperate, they carried Chinelo to the shrine. Her arms tied with clothes so she would not scratch herself raw. The shrine smelled of burning herbs. Its walls lined with white chalk marks. The priestess sat before them, tall and commanding, cowries woven into her hair. Her eyes sharp like lightning. She looked at Chinelo, then at her parents, and finally looked at Amaka, who had followed them reluctantly. Her voice rang out. This madness is not sickness of the body. It is the hand of jealousy, the work of her own blood. The parents gasped. Their eyes turned slowly in horror toward Amaka. Amaka, her father turned out. What is this the priestess speaks of? What have you done to your sister? Tears welled in Amaka's eyes. For a moment, she shook her head, but under the piercing stares, the truth spilled out like a flood. Yes, I did it. I went to the old woman at the edge of the forest. I sprinkled the charm in her gown. Her mother collapsed to the ground, wailing. Her father struck his chest, his voice cracking. Why, Amaka? Why would you do this to your own twin sister? Amaka sobbed bitterly. Because you made me. You never loved me. From birth, you made me invisible. You called her the jewel, the pride, the queen. You gave her the finest wrappers, the suitors, the gifts. You let Obina take her, even though he came for me. You buried me alive in her shadow. Every day, you broke me until bitterness filled my bones. I only wanted you to feel my pain. Her words cut deep. Her parents looked at one another, the truth like a knife in their hearts. Her father's voice broke. We destroyed our own children. We lifted one so high and buried the other in neglect. Now we reap the fruit of our injustice. Her mother clung to Amaka, crying, Forgive me, my daughter. Forgive me for all the times I turned my back. Forgive me for making you a stranger in your own home. Amaka wept aloud. Her heart torn. For the first time, their tears were for her. The priestess spoke again, her tone heavy. If you wish to save your sister, then the one who has the spell must go back to the old woman and undo what was done. Only then will Chinelo's mind be restored. All eyes turned to Amaka. She nodded weakly, wiping her tears. I will go. Even if it kills me, I will go. Amaka returned to the crooked hut at the edge of the forest. The old woman was waiting, as if she had known she would return. Amaka fell to her knees. Mama, please, take it back. Undo what you gave me. My sister is broken. My family destroyed. Please, I beg you. The old woman shook her head slowly, her eyes glinting. Child, I warned you. Jealousy is a fire. Once it burns, it leaves only ashes. There is no cure. What has been done to your sister cannot be undone. Your sister will remain as she is until she die. Amaka wailed, beating the earth with her feet. No, please, there must be something. But the old woman turned away, her voice cold. You lit the fire. Now you must live with its smoke. Amaka returned to her parents with the news. When she told them that there was no cure, they broke down completely. Her mother wailed until her voice cracked. Her father fell silent, his face carved with grief. We thought we had 2 daughters. Now, in truth, we have none. The courtyard of Papa Chinelo, once filled with pride and laughter, became a house of sorrow. The villagers whispered, shaking their heads. Favoritism destroyed them. Jealousy finished them. And Amaka, though her parents finally gave her love, felt it burn like chains. She had won nothing. She had destroyed everything. Amaka couldn't bear the fact that there was no cure for her twin sister. She refused to accept defeat. She returned to the crooked hut at the edge of the forest. Her knees hit the ground as she wept before the old woman. Mama, please, there must be another way. My sister is suffering. My family is broken. Please, show me mercy. Tell me how I can save her. The old woman studied her, silent for a long while, then spoke. There is one path, but it is dangerous. I will do anything. Just tell me what to do. Amaka said, tears dripping from her eyes. For 3 days, you will fetch water from the sacred rivers. On the first day, you will go to Mmirioda, the river of echoes. On the second day, you will go to Mmirionino, the river of shadows. On the third day, you will go to Mmiriodo, the river of silence. At each river, you will be tested, so be very careful. Fail, and the river will take you. Each day, bring the water straight back to this shrine. Your sister must bathe in that day's water before sunset. Between journeys, you will sleep here and fast for 3 days. No food, only water. If you break this fast or miss a bath, all is wasted. Amaka's voice shook, but she lifted her head. I will go. At first light, Amaka set out for the river of echoes, a place villagers feared. When she got there, the waters thundered against the rocks, and mist rose like smoke. As she knelt to dip her calabash, the river stilled. A glowing figure of a woman rose from the waves, her skin shimmering like silver, her voice echoing from every direction. "Child," the spirit said, "no water lives here freely. Answer my riddle or be swallowed by the river." Her eyes flashed. "Tell me what is heavier than stone, yet light enough to break a man." Amaka trembled, her heart racing. Then she whispered, "It is sorrow, for sorrow can crush, though it weighs nothing." The spirit smiled faintly, and the river parted. "You have spoken the truth. Take the water and go." Her calabash filled itself, glowing faintly. Amaka carried it home, her arm shaking with relief. Amaka ran straight to the shrine. The old woman poured the river water into a clay basin. With prayers and chalk marks, they bathed Chinelo before sunset. Chinelo's eyes fluttered, only a flicker. But the old woman nodded. "You have completed the first task. Drink some water and then sleep." Amaka drank some water, and then she lay on the shrine mats, stomach clawing, but she never gave up. On the second day, she journeyed to the river of shadows, deep in the forest. The trees bent unnaturally, and the water glimmered black as night. As she bent with her calabash, the shadows formed into a tall figure with eyes like burning coals. Its voice rumbled, "Answer me, child, or be lost in darkness forever. What devours kings and beggars alike, eats the rich and poor, yet is never satisfied." Amaka's lips trembled. She shut her eyes, remembering her sister's disgrace, her parents' sorrow, her own bitterness. Then she said firmly, "It is time. Time devours all." The shadow melted back into the water, and the calabash filled. "Go before the darkness changes its mind," the spirit warned. She hurried back to the shrine. Again the basin, the prayers, the white chalk. Chinelo bathed a second time. Her screams softened to whimpers. At dusk, she finally slept. "You have completed the second task," the old woman murmured. "Back to your mat and drink only water." Amaka's head spun with hunger, but she obeyed. On the third day, she faced the most feared of all, the river of silence. Its waters did not move. The air was thick and heavy. No bird sang nearby. No leaf stirred. When Amaka knelt, the still water rippled, and a pale goddess rose. Her eyes endless and deep. Her voice was a whisper that filled the world. "Only one may take my water. Fail, and your bones will join the silence forever. Tell me, what is the greatest poison, yet no healer can cure?" Amaka's breath caught. She remembered her own hatred. The night she walked to the old woman, the powder in her sister's gown. Tears fell down her cheeks. She whispered, "It is hatred. It destroys both the hand that holds it and the heart it touches." The goddess studied her, then slowly smiled. "You have learned. Take the water and go in peace." Her calabash filled, shimmering like silver lights. She carried it, staggering, straight to the shrine. The old man drew circles of chalk, whispered ancient names, and bathed Chinelo a third time as the sun bled towards the tree. "The baths are complete, and your fast is unbroken," the old woman said softly. "Go and take water from the calabash and drink, then go and lie on your mat and sleep. Tomorrow is a good day." The next morning, her parents came to the shrine. They lifted Amaka from the shrine and took her home. They set before her the best food their hands could make. She ate slowly, tears in her eyes. An hour later, A cry rang out. "Chinelo!" her mother screamed. "She's staring!" Chinelo's eyes fluttered open. The madness was gone. She blinked at her family, tears streaming. Where am I?" she whispered. "Mama, Papa, Amaka." Her mother fell to her knees, sobbing in joy. Her father raised his hands to the sky in thanks. Chinelo turned to Amaka. Her lips quivered. "Sister, forgive me. I mocked you, and I despised you. I forgot that you were my other half." Amaka wept, throwing her arms around her. "Forgive me too, Chinelo. I let envy destroy me. I should never have harmed you." The sisters clung to each other, crying as their parents embraced them both. From that day on, no one favored one over the other. Their parents loved them equally, cared for them equally, honored them equally, guarding their home like a lamp against the wind. The family was whole again. And so, the story of the twins of Umueze spread far and wide. Elders told it by the fireside. Parents whispered it to their children. When parents favor one child above the other, they plant envy in the heart of the neglected. Hatred is the greatest poison. It consumes the one who holds it and the one it is poured upon. Only love, forgiveness, and equality can heal a house divided. The villagers remembered it well. Once, two sisters were torn apart by favoritism and envy. But through trials, pain, and redemption, they found their way back to peace. Love your children equally, or you'll make weapons out of their wounds. Thank you so much for staying with me to the very end of this story. Your time and support mean the world. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss another powerful story. Now I'd love to hear from you. Do you think Amaka was truly to blame for what happened? Or were her parents the real cause of the tragedy? And if your own family had favored your sibling over you, would you have had the strength to endure it? Or would bitterness have consumed you too? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read them. Until next time, stay blessed and keep learning from the stories of old. Bye!